Hi there, welcome to Tech Center. This is Joshua and I'm going to introduce you to Microsoft Paint. Before we jump into the video, please subscribe and click the notification bell to see future videos from my channel. If you haven't already watched my previous video about programming a living room in Python 3.8.3, I've put a link in the description box below so you can watch the video. Now I'm going to introduce you to Microsoft Paint. First of all, I'm going to open Microsoft Paint from the Windows Programs list. To do that, click Start, Windows Accessories, and then Paint. Now that Microsoft Paint is open, I'm going to maximize it. At the top of the screen, you can see a title bar. To the right hand side of the title bar, you can see a minimize button, a maximize button, and a close button. To the left hand side of the title bar, you can see a quick access toolbar. Below the quick access toolbar, you can see a menu bar with File menu, Home tab, and then View tab. I'm going to click on Home tab. Below the menu bar, you can see the ribbon with different commands. Below the ribbon is the canvas. Here is where we drew the drawings. Below the canvas is a status bar. To the left hand side of the status bar, you can see the position of the mouse pointer. So if I move it on the canvas, you can see that the position changes when I move the mouse pointer. This is the X and Y coordinate position of the mouse pointer. Right next to that is the selection area. It shows you how much area you have selected. So if I click on the select tool and I select part of the canvas, you can see that it is 351 by 222 pixels. So if I expand it, you can see that the value's changed. To the right hand side of that, you can see the size of the canvas. So this area here. To the right hand side of the status bar, you can see the zoom tool. With the zoom tool, you can zoom in or zoom out of the canvas. To zoom in, press on plus. To zoom out, press on minus. I'm going to zoom in. Now I'm going to zoom out. By default, there are three command tools in the Quick Access toolbar: the Save command tool, the Undo command tool, and the Redo command tool. To the right hand side of the Quick Access toolbar, you can see a down arrow. If you click on it, a drop down menu will appear, and you can see that there are a couple of options. Currently, Save, Undo, and Redo are checked. That is why they are shown in the Quick Access toolbar. We can add or remove commands to the Quick Access toolbar by clicking on these options. I'm going to click on New. You can see that New has appeared in the Quick Access toolbar. I'm going to click on the arrow again. You can see that New is now checked. I'm going to check Open. You can see that Open is now in the Quick Access toolbar. I'm going to click on the arrow again. I'm going to click on Send in Email. You can see that Send in Email is now in the Quick Access toolbar. If I want to remove a command from the Quick Access toolbar, for example, Send in Email, I have to click on the drop down arrow and I have to click on the option again. I'm going to click on the arrow. You can see that Send in Email has been removed from the Quick Access toolbar. If I click on the arrow again, you can see that Send in Email is no longer checked. We can add or remove commands from the Quick Access toolbar in the same way. Below these commands, you can see two options. The first one is Show below the ribbon. So this shows the Quick Access toolbar below the ribbon. The second option is to minimize the ribbon. Let me show you. You can see that the ribbon has been minimized. It's disappeared. I'm going to click on the arrow again, and I'm going to uncheck minimize the ribbon. You can see that the ribbon is back. I'm going to click on the arrow again, and I'm going to click on show below the ribbon. You can see that the quick access toolbar is now below the ribbon. I'm going to click on the arrow again, and now it reads show above the ribbon. So this will throw the quick access toolbar above the ribbon. So I'm going to click on it. You can see that it is now above the ribbon. In the menu bar, I'm going to introduce you to the file menu. I'm going to click on it. You can see that there are many commands. Some of them have cascade menus. If a command has an arrow on its right hand side, it has a cascade menu. Cascade menus are subcommands of the command. So currently we can see that Save As has a cascade menu, which is here. And the print command also has a cascade menu, which is over here. Here is the open command. So this allows you to open already saved image files. I'm going to click on open. Now I'm going to go to this PC. Then I'm going to go to documents. And I'm going to click on sample file, which is an image that I saved earlier. Here you can see that the file is open. I'm going to click on the file menu. And here you see the command called new. So what this does is it opens a new canvas. I'm going to click on it. You can see that a new blank canvas has appeared. Now I'm going to draw some shapes. I'm going to click on the brushes tool. And I'm going to start drawing shapes. Now I'm going to save this file. File menu. Save. You can see that Save dialog box has opened. Now I'm going to go to this PC, and I'm going to go to Documents. And I'm going to save it as sample file 1. And then I'm going to click on Save. If you don't want to save this file, click on Cancel. I want to save it, so I'm going to click on Save. Now if we want to save a copy of the saved file, there is a command called Save As. File menu. Save As. Save As has a cascade menu. These are file formats which you can save this file as. But I'm not going to do that right now because we get these options later. So I'm just going to click on Save As. This is the Save As dialog box. I'm going to give a file name for this. I'm going to name it sample file 2. Now I'm going to change the file format. I'm going to click on this Save As type field. And I'm going to choose JPEG. So I'm going to click on it. Now I'm going to select the location where the file is going to be saved. I'm going to click on this PC, and then I'm going to save it in my Documents folder. We are going to save it in the Documents folder. Its file name is sample file 2, and its file format is JPEG. I'm going to click on the Save button to save it. I'm going to click on File menu. Here you can see the print command. Here you can see the cascade menu with 3 options: print, page setup, and print preview. So in print preview, it shows a preview of what is going to be printed. I'm going to click on it. So here is the print preview. This is what is going to be printed. You can see that there is a new tab called Print Preview. and it has 3 groups: print, zoom and preview. Here you can see that there is a print option and there is a page setup option. These are the other 2 options that we saw in the cascade menu, so I'm not going to go into detail about them right now. Here you can see a zoom in command. I'm going to click on it. You can see that it zoomed in. I'm going to zoom out now by clicking on this zoom out command. You can see that it has zoomed out. If you want to print it, you have to click on the print option here. If you don't want to print it, click on close print preview. So this tool closes the print preview page. I'm going to click on it. File menu, print, cascade menu, and then page setup. You can see that a dialog box for page setup has opened. So this dialog box helps to choose paper size, margins, centering, scaling, etc. Here you can see that the paper size is A4, and you can adjust the margins over here. I'm going to leave it as it is, and I'm going to click on OK. File menu, print, cascade menu, and then print. Here you can see that a dialog box has opened. With this print dialog box, you can choose the printer, the page range, and the number of copies. You can also manage the printing preferences. I'm going to leave the settings as it is. If I want to print it, I have to click on print. If I don't want to print it, I have to click cancel. If you make any changes, you have to click apply, but I haven't made any changes, so it is not active. So I don't want to print it, so I'm going to click on cancel. I'm going to introduce you to more commands in the File menu. File, from scanner or camera. This command is to insert images from a scanner or a camera. The below option, send in email, is to send this file to someone by email. The next option is set as desktop background. It has a cascade menu with 3 options: fill, title and center. So fill sets the desktop background with the pictures on this canvas. The tile command is to set this image on the canvas as tiles on the desktop background. The center command puts the picture on the canvas in the center of the desktop. The next option is properties. So if we click on this properties dialog box shows information about the saved file, such as last saved, the size on disk, and the resolution. As well as that, you can see that there is information on the units, the colors, and the canvas size. Here you can see that there is a default button. This resets the size of the canvas to its default size. So its default size is 1152 by 648. So I'm going to click OK to close the dialog box. I'm going to go to File menu, and to the right hand side you can see recently opened files. Here you can see the About Paint command. So this will show you information about the Microsoft Paint software. I'm going to click on it. Here you can see that there are some details. Now I'm going to click on OK to close this dialog box. I'm going to go to File menu, and the last command is Exit. So this closes the Microsoft Paint program. I'm going to click on it. You can see that Microsoft Paint has closed. I'm going to reopen it from the Windows Programs list. Click Start, Windows Accessories, and then Paint. Now the program is open with a new canvas. I'm going to open a file. Here the file is opened. In the View tab, you can see that there are three groups: Zoom, Show or Hide, and Display. In the Zoom group, you can zoom in or zoom out. I'm going to zoom in. You can see that it has zoomed in. If I want to zoom out, I have to click on Zoom Out. You can see that it has zoomed out. I'm going to zoom out again by clicking on the Zoom Out tool. Now, if I want to go back to 100%, so currently it's 50%, and I want to zoom into 100%, I have to click on this Command tool. You can see that the zoom is now 100%. The next group is Show or Hide. So currently status bar is checked. So that's why status bar is shown over here at the bottom. If I uncheck it, you can see that the status bar has gone. I'm going to check it again. There are two other options, rulers and grid lines. I'm going to check rulers. You can see that there are rulers on the X and Y axis. Now I'm going to check grid lines. You can see that there is a grid line on the canvas. If I want to remove them, I have to uncheck them. I'm going to uncheck rulers as well. The next command I'm going to introduce you to is full screen. So this displays the image on the canvas on the screen by itself. So if I click it, you can see that the only thing on the screen is the image on the canvas. If I want to escape this, I have to press the escape key, or I have to click somewhere else. Now I'm going to zoom in by clicking on the zoom in tool. Here you can see that there is a thumbnail tool. I'm going to click on it. Here you can see that there is another window. So if I change the size of this, like this and this, you can see a whole preview of the actual canvas. So this is to view the whole thing if you're working on a small part and you want to see the whole thing, how it changes. So if I go to Home tab and I go to Brushes and I start drawing, you can see that the changes appear on the thumbnail. So if I change something here, you can see that the line appeared here. I'm going to close this window by clicking on the close button here. You can see that the thumbnail window has been closed. I'm going to zoom out, View tab, zoom out. Now I'm going to click on the Home tab. Here you can see a couple of groups. I'm going to introduce you to them all one by one. I'm going to start off with the image group. And the first tool here is selection. This is rectangular selection. So to select something, I have to left click and drag. I'm going to select this square. I'm left clicking and dragging. When I let go of the left click, you can see that the square is now selected. Now if I click on this down arrow, it will open a command list. These are the selection shapes. So currently it is rectangular selection. So that's what we've done. And there are some selection options. We can select all, so that's selecting the whole screen, but we don't want to do that because we've already selected the square. That's all we want to select. Invert selection selects the whole screen if you've only selected something inside. But if you select the whole screen and then you click on invert selection, it will only focus on a small point. So if I click on invert selection, you can see that the whole canvas is now selected. I'm going to click on the arrow again. You can see that now freeform selection has been selected. So when we select one of these options, it will change from rectangular selection to freeform selection. That does not change anything. So if we click on invert selection again, it will only select this square. Let's click on it. You can see that the square is selected again. I'm going to click on the arrow again. Now I'm going to click on delete. So what it does is it deletes the selection. I'm going to click on it. Now you can see that the selected part is deleted. This time I'm going to undo the operation. So I'm going to go to the quick access toolbar and I'm going to click on undo. You can see that the selection is back. If you want to redo the deletion, click on the redo button here. I'm going to click on it. You can see that the deletion has happened again. But on this occasion, I want to undo it. I don't want it to be deleted. So I'm going to click on the undo button. You can see that the square is back and it's no longer deleted. Now I'm going to click on the down arrow on the select tool. I'm going to click on select all. You can see that the whole canvas has been selected. I'm going to deselect this. I have to press escape on the keyboard. You can see that it is no longer selected. Now I'm going to add some text. Now I'm going to the tools group. Now I'm going to click on the text tool. I'm going to left click and drag. Then I'm going to create a box like this. Now I'm going to start typing something in. I'm going to type welcome to Text Center. Now you can see that there is a new tab in the menu bar. It's called text, and here we've got a couple of groups. Clipboard is the first, font is the second, background is the third, and colours is the fourth. I'm going to start with font. So I'm going to select this text by click and dragging it. And then I'm going to choose its font style by clicking on this arrow. I'm going to choose Calibri. You can see that the text is now Calibri. I'm going to change its font size by clicking on this arrow. I'm going to change it to 24. You can see that the text size has increased. Now I'm going to bold it by clicking on bold. Now I'm going to underline it. Make sure the text is selected when doing this. I'm going to make the text italics. You can see that the text is now italics. And now I'm going to select strike through. Here is the strike through command. So this makes a strike over the selected text. Let me show you. You can see that there is a strike through this text. If I don't want that strike through, I have to click on the strike through command again, and it is no longer striked. This is a latch operation, so every time we click on this command, it will create a strike, and when we click it again, the strike will be removed. This is the same with bold, italics, and underline. Let me deselect this by clicking on the text. Here is the colour palette. From here we can select colours for the text and the background. To the right hand side of the colour palette you can see a command called Edit Colours. If I click on that, you can see that an Edit Colours dialog box has appeared. Here we can choose basic colours, for example green. The selected colour will appear in this colour box. we can choose a colour from here as well. We can change the colour's intensity by using this slide bar. I'm going to decrease the intensity of the colour. You can see the change in colour in this colour box. I'm going to increase the intensity. You can see the green is too dark now. You can also change its values, such as hue, saturation, and how luminous it is. You can change its red, green, and blue values. So to change it, you have to click inside the field and you have to type its value as a number. I'm going to keep it as it is. You can also select the colour from here. Let me select a red colour from here. Now you can see that the selected colour has changed. If you want to save this as a custom colour over here, then click on OK. If you don't want to, click Cancel. I want to, so I'm going to click on OK. You can see that it is now in the custom colours. To the left hand side of the colour palette, you can see two colours, Colour 1 and Colour 2. Colour 1 is the colour of the text. Colour 2 is the colour of the background of the text box. So to see the colour, we have to change the background from transparent to opaque. You can see that there is a white colour here because Colour 2 is white. So if I click on Colour 2 and I change it to turquoise, you can see that the background has changed. If I don't want any background and I want it to be transparent, I have to click on transparent. I'm going to leave it as transparent. And I'm going to change Colour 1. And before I select another colour, I have to select the text by clicking and dragging. And I'm going to change the colour to red. So I'm going to deselect it by clicking on the text. You can see that the text is now red. You can change the colour of the text and the colour of the background in the same way as we did just now. Colour 1 is the colour of the text and Colour 2 is the colour of the background. The colour of the background will only be visible if you change transparent to opaque. I'm going to keep it as transparent. You can also see this tool which says Edit with Paint 3D. This will open up another Microsoft application to do 3D painting. I will be introducing you to this in the future videos. Let me exit the text command by clicking somewhere else on the canvas. You can see that the text command is no longer active. I'm going to add some more text. I'm going to left click and drag to make a text box, and it's still got my previous settings: Calibri, size 24, bold, italics and underline. The text colour is still orange, so I'm going to type hello, have a nice day. I'm going to select the text by left clicking and dragging, and I'm going to change the text to light turquoise. So if I click on the text to deselect it, it's not quite readable, so I'm going to make the background opaque. And I'm going to change Colour 2, the background colour, to green. Now the text is more readable. I'm going to click somewhere else on the canvas to deactivate the text tool. I'm going to click on Select, and I'm going to click on the arrow, and I'm going to click on Transparent Selection. I'm going to check it by clicking on it. Now I'm going to select this text, and I'm going to left click and drag to move it. You can see that only the text has moved and not the actual background. So I can move it to brown, yellow, or blue. I'm going to move it to this yellow background. I'm going to click somewhere else on the canvas to deselect the command. If I try and select it again with transparent selection, it will not work because its opaque background is no longer there. So let's try that. I'm going to select this text. I'm going to move this text by left clicking and dragging. Now let me move it over the green. You can see that the yellow background has moved with the text. I'm going to click somewhere else on the canvas to deselect the command. The next command is resize. So this will open a dialog box to resize the selection. If there is no selection, it will affect the screen. So I'm going to click on resize. I haven't selected anything, so it's going to affect the whole screen. So here I can change the width and height of the selection, in my case the canvas. So I'm going to change it to 150, and I'm going to change the vertical to something else. But before I do that, I have to uncheck maintain aspect ratio, otherwise these two numbers will be the same. I'm going to uncheck it, and I'm going to change this to 175. You can also change whether it is by percentage or pixels. Currently it's percentage, so horizontal by 150% and vertical by 175%. The pixels, so if we select it, it will change it to pixels. Below this you can see the option for skew. You can change its values by clicking on the fields and typing the values into them. It is measured in degrees, so it has to be a number between 0 and 360. I'm going to change it to 15. This is only the horizontal. I'm going to click OK. You can see that it is 50% by 50% the size, and the canvas has been skewed horizontally. Now I'm going to show you what happens when we skew it vertically. I'm going to click on resize, then I'm going to change vertical to 20. I'm going to click on OK. You can see that the canvas has been skewed vertically. Now I'm going to select this line, and I'm going to click on the resize option, and I'm going to skew it by 10 degrees horizontally and 5 degrees vertically. Then I'm going to click on OK. You can see that the line is skewed. I'm going to click somewhere else on this canvas to escape this command. I'm going to unskew the canvas and the line by clicking on the undo button. Now I'm going to make the canvas to its full size by clicking on undo. You can see that it's back to its original size. Now I'm going to show you how to resize an object. Left click and drag to select it, and then click on resize. And I'm going to change its horizontal and vertical by 30. Then I'm going to press OK. You can see that the triangle is now 30% its original size. I'm going to undo it to make it back to its normal size. Now I'm going to reselect it by left clicking and dragging. And I'm going to show you how to skew it. I'm going to click on resize, and then I'm going to change the horizontal skew by 20, and I'm going to change its vertical by 10. And then I'm going to click OK. You can see that the shape has been skewed. If you want to undo that, click on undo. You can see that the shape is no longer skewed. In the same way, we can skew and resize the whole canvas and everything inside of it. To select an object, we have to uncheck the transparent selection option. Let me show you how to do it. Select tool, down arrow, click on transparent selection to uncheck it. Now select the object which you want to rotate. And then click on the rotate command. This will open a drop-down list. I'm going to click on rotate right 90 degrees. You can see that the shape is now 90 degrees turned. Now I'm going to rotate it left by 90 degrees. You can see that it is rotated left by 90 degrees. Now I'm going to rotate it by 180 degrees, so everything will be flipped upside down. Rotate 180 degrees. You can see that everything is upside down. Now I'm going to click on rotate. Now I'm going to flip vertical, so it's going to flip what was at the bottom to the top. I'm going to click rotate, then I'm going to click on flip horizontal, so it's going to move everything from the right side to the left side and everything from the left side to the right side. Going to show you. You can see that it has flipped horizontally. In the same way, we can rotate the text and the canvas. I'm going to move this back to its original place. Now I'm going to click somewhere else on the canvas to deselect the tool. In the same way, we can rotate the text, objects and the canvas with the rotate command. I'm going to introduce you to the crop command. The crop command keeps the selection and deletes the rest of the canvas. So I'm going to select this part of my canvas, so it keeps all my shapes and it cuts the extra border. And then I'm going to click on crop. You can see that only this is saved and the rest of it has gone. I'm going to show you that again. I'm going to make this selection. Now I'm going to click on crop. You can see that only this is left over and the left side has been cut off. If I want to undo that, I have to click on the undo command tool. You can see that it has been undone. I'm going to open a new canvas. File, new. It's asking me if I want to save this file. I want to save it, so I'm going to click on save. The canvas size is too small, so I'm going to change it back to its default size. File menu, properties. Now I'm going to click on default, and I'm going to click on OK. You can see that the canvas is now back to its original size. Now I'm going to introduce you to the pencil tool. The pencil tool allows you to draw on the canvas by left clicking and dragging. It is a very thin line that it draws. We can change its colour by clicking on colour 1 and changing it. So I'm going to change it to red. If I left click and drag, you can see that the colour is now red. Now I'm going to move to the Fill tool. Now I'm going to fill the screen with yellow. You can see that the background is now yellow. Now I'm going to fill the shapes with green. Here you can see the text tool. I introduced you to it earlier. Here is the tool Rubber. This is to erase the drawings in the canvas. If I click on it and I left click and drag, you can see that it erases. Now I'm going to erase over here. When erasing, the default colour is white because colour 2 is white. If we change the colour of colour 2, so if I click on colour 2 and I change it to black and I use the eraser is now going to draw in black. I'm going to change the colour 2 back to white. Then I'm going to click on colour 1. Now I'm going to move on to the colour picker tool. So what this does, it allows you to pick a certain colour from the canvas. So if you can't remember what the exact colour was, then you can use the colour picker to use that exact same colour. So let me show you. I'm going to pick green, and I'm going to use the pencil. You have to left click and draw. You can see that it is drawing in green. Here is the magnifier tool. It allows you to zoom in on certain parts. So if I click on it, and I'm going to zoom in on this part. So you can see what you're zooming in on because of the square. There is a very faint square. So if I left click, it will zoom in. If I right click, it will zoom out. Now I'm going to move to the brush tool. I'm going to click on it. So this is similar to the pencil. It allows you to draw on the screen. If we click on the down arrow in the brush tool, you can see that there are different types of brush. So currently brush is selected. The other options are calligraphy pen 1, calligraphy pen 2, airbrush, oil brush, crayon, marker, natural pencil, and watercolor brush. By default, the brush is selected. I'm going to change it to oil brush. So if I left click and drag, it will draw with the oil brush. You can see that after a while, the oil brush runs out and it doesn't paint anymore. I still haven't let go of left click. This is to create the effect that the oil ran out and we have to get some more to paint. So there is a limit to how much you can paint with this. So I'm still left clicking, but it's not painting anything. So I have to let go of left click and you have to draw again. Now I'm going to change brush again. This time I'm changing to the watercolor brush because it is similar to the oil brush. It runs out. This is to create the effect that the paint is run out and there's more water. So the further you go, the lighter the colour gets. I still haven't let go of left click, but it's still not drawing. Like the oil brush, I have to go back and draw again. Now I'm going to change brush one more time. I'm going to change to the airbrush. So this is like a spray can. So if I left click and drag, it will spray some dots on the canvas. The faster you go, the more gaps there are. The slower you go, the more filled in it is. You can also change the size of the brush. If you want to change the size of the brush, click on size. Currently it's only on the second size. I'm going to go to maximum size. If I left click, you can see that there are more gaps. when I go faster. If I go slower, you can see that there are less gaps than before. If it's a smaller size, we can go faster than normal, however it's thinner, that's all. If we go faster with a smaller size, it will be filled in. Now if I go back to the tool rubber and I change the size, I can erase a larger area than before. If I change it to a smaller size, it's just going to get smaller and smaller, and it's going to be a smaller area that you're going to erase. I'm going to change it back to the thickest size. Now I'm going to open a new canvas, File menu, New. I do not want to save this, so I'm going to click on Don't Save. Now I'm going to start making shapes. Here are the shapes. So if you click on this down arrow here, you'll see more shapes. If you click on this up arrow, you'll see the first few shapes. If you want to see all of them, click on this More button. Here you can see all the shapes. I'm going to start drawing a line. To draw a line, left click and drag. You can adjust its direction by moving the mouse pointer across the canvas. In the same way, the length can also be adjusted. Once you've finished drawing the line, let go of left click, and then you can move it by left clicking and dragging. Now we can edit it by clicking and dragging on its ends. Once you've done, let go of left click and then click somewhere else on the canvas to escape the command. Now I'm going to draw a square. Left click and drag. We can adjust its size and its direction with left click and drag of the mouse. Once we let go, we can edit its shape by clicking and dragging on its corner. Once we've done drawing the shape, click somewhere else on the canvas. Now I'm going to draw a polygon. So if I click on this, I need to left click and drag, and then if I left click again, it will start drawing lines. And then when I rejoin back the shape, it will become selected, and I can edit it with its corners and its centers, like this. Now I'm satisfied with it, so I'm going to click somewhere else on the canvas. Now I'm going to click on the More button again, and I'm going to draw an up arrow. Once you've drawn the up arrow shape, you can resize it with its grip points. Now I'm going to click somewhere else. Now I'm going to draw a hexagon. Going to left click and drag. And I'm going to change its outline colour with colour 1. So I'm going to change it to red. And I'm going to change its fill colour to blue by clicking on colour 2 and clicking on blue. After this, you have to go to the fill tool, which is right next to shapes, and then you have to click on solid colour. By default, it goes to no fill, so nothing will be filled in. It's transparent. I clicked on solid colour, so it would colour it in as blue. And crayon is another way of colouring it in blue, so we can change it to another colour, such as green, and it would have the same crayon effect. If I click on fill and watercolour, natural pencil or felt tip, it will have the same effect as those of the brushes. I just want solid colour. You can see that it is green. You can change the outline as well. You can change the effect of the outline. I'm not going to change it, I'm going to keep it as solid colour. And to deselect the tool, I'm going to click outside of the shape. Here you can see the colour palette, and to the left side, and to the left hand side of the colour palette, you can see colour 1 and colour 2. Colour 1 is the primary colour, and colour 2 is the secondary colour. So, for example, I'm going to use fill command. So if I fill this shape with left click, it fills it with colour 1. If I right click with this, it fills it with colour 2. Same with pencil. So if I left click and drag, it draws with red. If I right click and drag, you can see that it draws in green. For some tools this works, for other tools it does not work in the same way. To the right hand side of the colour palette, you can see Edit Colours. With this tool we can add custom colours, and it can be added to over here. Let me make a custom colour. I'm going to choose green. Then I'm going to click on OK. You can see that it has been added to the custom colours row. At the very end, you can see the tool Edit with Paint.3D. Paint.3D is a Microsoft application that comes with Windows. I'll be doing a tutorial on Paint.3D in my next video. I'm going to close Microsoft Paint, and I'm going to click on Don't Save because I don't want to save this. In my future videos, I'll be posting tutorials on Paint.3D, which is an application for editing photos, and Convertio, which is a website for converting files to different formats, and then games. I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you liked this video, please smash that like button and show it to your friends and family. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please click the red subscribe button below. If you have any questions or comments about this video, or if you'd like to get links from my previous videos, please contact me via email at 4techcenter@gmail.com. I've put a link in the description box below. See you in the next video.